Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Virtual Summer Reading and Math Enrichment, brought to you by Bridge the Gap Learning. Today's lesson is a sixth grade lesson. It's a math lesson. Let's dive right in. Okay, so our lesson today is on ratios. We're going to learn a lot, an introduction to ratios and what it's about. It's a big topic in sixth grade. All right, before we start, I always like to start with an activity, and I found an activity that I got from IM that I like. And it's called What Kind and How Many? Okay, so two questions to answer, and possibly I have a third one. If you sorted this set by color, how many groups would you have? So here you have these tiles, and I'm asking you to sort them by color, meaning all the yellow in one group or the red in one group. How many groups would you have? Okay. If you sorted this set by area, how many groups would you have? Okay, and I've put a reminder of what an area is. Area is the amount of space inside a 2D shape. It tells you how much surface the shape covers. So if you needed to sort this by area, areas with um, tiles with area of two, tiles with area of three, tiles with area of four, and so forth, how many groups would you have? And I'm going to push your thinking a little bit more and ask, how else can you sort these tiles? Okay, feel free to pause the video and solve and then come back and continue. Feel free to put the answers in the comment box or in your notebook. Okay, moving right on. Okay, ratio. Today's lesson, we're going to understand ratio, we're going to represent ratio, and we're going to simplify ratios. Okay, what is ratio? A ratio tells us how much of one thing there is compared to another thing. Okay, and the example we have here is for every two red calculators, we have three yellow calculators. Okay, so for every two, I see two red calculators and I see three red calculators. So how much of one thing there is compared to the other thing? Okay, types of ratios. There are three types of ratios. The first one is part to part. In part to part, you're comparing the number of one part to another part. So again, you're comparing two red calculators to three yellow calculators part to part. The second type is part to whole, where you're comparing a part of the total, a part of the number to a total, um, right, to the whole. So in this case, I could say two red calculators to five total calculators. And then the third part is whole to part. In this case, the total number of all the parts in the whole to a selected number of parts, right? So I can say there are five calculators in all, and out of the five calculators, two are red. Okay, so I'm comparing the whole to the part. Okay, so ratio, remember, is a comparison between one quantity to another quantity, right? So here I have three pencils and five erasers, right? And mathematically, we say there are three pencils to five erasers. Three pencils, the two little dot colons to five. We say that as two, five erasers. 3, 2, 5, just the numbers. It's important that we read ratios as two, not and. Okay, two. Okay, here we have two scissors and four pencils. So again, we're comparing the part to the whole. So here I have two scissors to seven total items, part to whole. Again, two scissors 2, the colon, 7 total items, or 2 to 7. It's important that you use the word to and not and. Okay, solving ratios. There are three steps to solving ratios. The first step is to identify how many of each item is shown. In the example of the calculator, we were able to identify 2 red and 3 yellow. So then the next part is to write it down. So I will write 2 red and then I'll write 3 yellow. And then simplify it if possible. Let's see how that goes. So an example here, we have some crayons. It's the first part, it says how many of each item. So I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 12 blue crayons. 2, 4, I have 4 red crayons. So I figured out how many of each. That's my first part. My second part is to write down the numbers, right? So 12 crayons to 4 crayons. 12 blue crayons to 4 red crayons. And again, 12 to 4, those 2 colons are referred to as 2. Okay, the last part is to simplify if you can. So 12 to 4 can be simplified in the simplest form. And I would divide by 2 because 2 goes into 12 and 2 goes into 4. And I would get 6 to 2. And then I could still simplify this. So I divide by 2 again. Uh, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I could have also just done 4 goes into both 12 and 4. I could have said 12 divided by 4 would give me 3, and 4 divided by 4 would give me 1. And I still get my 3 to 1 ratio. Okay, so to simplify ratios, we have to say to ourselves, we need to identify a timetable that goes into both numbers, right? So in part A, I have 2 and 4. I have to identify a timetable that goes into 2 and 4. Um, in this case, we're dividing. We're not multiplying, we're dividing. And I would say 2 times table goes into 2 and 4. So 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. And 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. And that's in the simplest form. I can't divide this or simplify that any further. So for B, again, what timetable goes into 3 and 21? We're not multiplying, we're simplifying, right? So we are dividing in this case. So 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 21. So 3 divide 3 is 1 and 21 divide 3 is 7. Okay, so there are 3 ways to to write ratios. First way is you can write it in word form, 4 to 6. Second way, you can write it in just number form, numeral form, 4 to 6. And the third way, you can write it as a fraction, 4 over 6. Okay, so I want us to try a little bit of exercise to see what we've been talking about. So read the question. I'll read the question. You pause, pick an answer before you move on. See if you're right. Check your answer to see if you're right. Okay. It says, which is the correct answer? So how do we say that there's 3 rulers and 4 scissors? Is it A, there are 3 rulers to 4 scissors? Is it B, there are 4 rulers to 3 scissors? Is it C, there are 3 rulers and 4 scissors? Pause it, take a minute to answer, and then continue. And the correct answer is A. There are 3 rulers to 4 scissors. C is correct that there are 3 rulers and 4 scissors, but that's not how we represent ratio. Remember, to represent ratio, we have to use the word to, right? Comparing one quantity to the other. So 3 rulers to 4 scissors. Here's another one. Express as a ratio for each question. So how would you write A as a ratio? There are 4 calculators to 5 markers. B, there are 3 green markers to 4 calculators. And C, there are 4 calculators to 9 total items. How would you represent? Again, pause. Feel free to put it in the comment or in your book, and then check your answer. Next slide. So it's 4 to 5 for A, 3 to 4 for B, and 4 to 9 for C. So write the following ratio in simplified form. Again, remember what timetable goes into both numbers. Simplifying, in this case, will be dividing, not multiplying. And I could see what I'll do the first one. 4 goes into 4 and 16. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 16 is 4. So 1 to 4. Go ahead and do B and C and then check your answer again. Okay, so here we go. The 4 timetable goes into A, 5 timetable goes into B, and 7 timetable goes into C. All right, so using a ratio table to solve. Here we have 2 truths and a lie, ratio addition problem. It says, at a school bake sale, the ratio of chocolate cupcakes to vanilla cupcake is 3 to 2. There are 30 chocolate cupcakes. Which of the following statements is the lie? A, there are 20 vanilla cupcakes. B, the total, to double this quantity, we would have 6 of each cupcakes. C, the total number of cupcakes is 50. Okay, so here we are creating a ratio table. So when we had 3 chocolate cupcakes, we had 2 vanilla cupcakes. So when we have 6 chocolate cupcakes, we would have 4 chocolate vanilla cupcakes. And so if we're continuing this, we can already see that B is the lie. To double this quantity, we would have 6 of each cupcake. So if I double 3, I'm going to get 6. But if I double 2, I'm going to get 4, not 6. So B is a lie. And then if you go down, if you continue and you go down to 20 vanilla, you would see that, yes, if we had a total of 30 chocolate cupcakes, it's equal to 20 vanilla cupcakes. So A is right, and there is a total of 50 cupcakes. Okay. And here it's telling us that the key to the answer. B is a lie. To double 3, you get 6. To double 2, you get 4, not 6. All right, so here I have some independent activities for you to do. Answer the questions, take your time, answer, pause, and answer the questions. It says, question number 1, in a fruit basket, there are 9 bananas, 4 apples, and 3 plums. The ratio of bananas to apple is blank to blank. B, the ratio of plums to apple is blank to blank. The ratio, C, for every blank apples, there are blank plums. And D, for every 3 bananas, there is 1 blank. Okay, use the information given to solve. Question number 2, complete the sentence to describe the statement. A, the ratio of dogs to cat is. B, for every blank dog, there are blank cats. So there's just 2 ways to write the ratio here. And remember, the animal that is given first, or the item that is given first, is the first ratio you put. So you're going to put the number of dogs first and not cats, because it says dogs to cats. Okay, so the first item would always come first in the ratio. Okay, so it says question number 3, write 2 different sentences that use ratio to describe the number of eyes and legs in this picture. So you're looking at both animals, how many legs do they have and how many eyes do they have, and put that in a ratio in 2 ways. Okay, and we have one more, which is ratio in our everyday life, right? So one says to make lavender colored paint, mix 1 part violet to 3 parts white. How would you write that as a ratio? 2 is cooking. My mom's famous cookie recipe has a 2-to-1 ratio of flour to sugar. How would you write that as a ratio? Scale drawings. For every 1 inch on the drawing, there's 10 feet in real life. How would you write that as a ratio? Okay. And that's it for today, guys. Great work. Thank you for learning with Bridge the Gap today. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I thank you again. You can feel free to go back and rewind to watch this video if there was any part that wasn't quite clear to you. Okay? See you next time. Bye.